Hello, it's Dave here again from Creative Guitar Lounge with another video which I hope you're going to enjoy. This week I want to look at, or this video I want to just look at different voicings for chords, why they're quite important and some creative ways that you can use them, particularly if in a kind of band situation where you're playing with another guitar and you're playing a lot of the same kind of parts. But before we get into that, it'd be really helpful for me if you get anything out of this at all. Leave me a little comment or just like the video, and if possible do subscribe, because it really helps my channel out, because a lot of people who watch these videos, I've noticed when I look at the analytics stuff, don't actually subscribe, even though they'll give me a like or a comment. So if you don't mind, and if you feel this is of value, please do one of those things. That'd be one or all of those things. That'd be absolutely amazing. But anyway, that being said, let's get on with this. So you'll see a lot of videos, and I've actually got a big section in my own guitar lessons course from beginner to advanced playing really quickly on the caged system, which, just to reiterate, is simply spells out the different shapes of chords that you can use. So your basic first position chords, spell that out. So you've got C, A, G, E, D. So those are the kind of first chords, the first position open chords that pretty much everyone learns when they start playing the guitar. But the gauge system, just using those as a kind of handy way to remember the order of the chords, actually refers to the different ways that you can voice these chords. So you can play any chord in any one of those shapes in a number of places on the fretboard. And that's where we come into different voicings of chords. So if we stick with our kind of humble C chord, for example, first place you can play that is in the basic C position, which is there. Okay, then you can play it in the A position, which is here. So you've got that, basically those little three notes there are your A shape, so C, A, yeah, and so on. The G shape I find really awkward, but that follows on from the A shape, and you're down like this. I'm probably going to fumble this. Yeah, incredibly awkward. Then the next shape is the E shape, which is down here on the 8th fret. So that's an E shape chord, and you've got your three fingers here making the E shape, and your bar replacing the nut. So those are three different voicings, or four, but let's ignore the G one unless you feel up to it yourself. I hate it. But if you're playing, say you have two guitars and you're playing something in C, or you happen to be a part of the song which features a C chord. If one of the guitars is playing that simple C chord, you can do all these nice open things, where you've got these nice little hammer-ons and pull-offs. So if the other guitar is playing the same chord, obviously, because you're doing the same thing, unless it's playing a melody or a lead, if it's still playing rhythm, you can make that much more interesting by using one of these alternative chord voicings. So if you, for example, you've got that going on, it just enables you to do these really nice, sharp, kind of power chord sounds, while this is maybe going on elsewhere. And the further up the neck you go, if you go right up to this E position shape, for example, it's exactly the same chord as this, but you can tell obviously it's much higher up the neck, so they're playing in a higher register, and that works really quite well against that, just to kind of fatten things up and add a little variation. And you can also get gives you other rhythmic possibilities to do that, almost that kind of disco or funk kind of vibe, just as an example. Same thing with the kind of A shape stuff. If we're in our chord of A and you've got someone just doing a simple A, maybe that's the kind of rhythm that's going on in the basic A chord shape. If you're the second guitar, you've got all sorts of possibilities. You've got this one down here, obviously your E shape. And you can just play partial parts of the chord and create a different kind of syncopation to go along with the original rhythm. And again, you're in a higher voicing, so you're adding that little extra higher frequency to the kind of spectrum the guitar is doing. And then you've got, I suppose my kind of favourites are these little, if you play this down in this is really the C position, so C from your cage system, but this is A in that position. You have these nice little things you can be doing. Against that, which I find is really nice. And actually the last video I did featured a little another little kind of riff that you can do from these A position things, which kind of Creedence Clearwater Revival-y kind of thing. So you've got that sort of possibility. So obviously you can do that with all of the chords. There's some great stuff you can do with the E. You've got this going on with basic open E chord, nice enough. But if you've got something else, if instead you play it down here in what's really the A shape version of E, you can actually play a really nice, huge sounding open chord by allowing the bottom and top E's and the B to ring out against this little triad here, which is just part of that chord, because your E chord has those open notes in it anyway. And also you can even go down and play the E chord just up fully to the 12th fret, and again still leave these two notes open, and again really nice open sounding feel. So just another thing, D, really just is worth experimenting with, either just to give it a different variation to what you're playing as the only guitarist. If you're playing with a keyboard player or a singer, it can be nice just to use these different versions of the chords, different tonations of the chords, rather than just sticking always to the basics. But I think even better if you're playing against another guitar or with another guitar, if you're both playing different variations of the same chords even, it opens up a whole loads of different possibilities. So just stuff that's worth experimenting with. And again, if you're interested in learning more about that whole cage system, I'll link to my little course underneath here, which is really designed to take you from beginner to intermediate and beyond really pretty quickly, to arm you with the kind of skills to do that in as straightforward and quick a way as I've found possible to do. So again, thanks for watching, and just to remind you, if you liked it, let me know, leave me comments, and please do subscribe if you feel this might be of value to you. See you next time, bye bye.